Good morning, wrestling fans. The PWR today, Thursday morning, January 28th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and Matthew Thomas once again for Thursday morning. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Meathead.
You sound enthralled, enthused. You know that this morning we will have totals for Tuesday's event, for Tuesday's Superstar Spectacle.
Yes, this is the first time that Matt Damien has ever been rewarded points.
Well, Matt Damien is usually a winner in life. I mean, because, didn't he do all the writing for Good Will Hunting? And then you had Affleck in the back going, yeah, put in a dick and a fart joke.
No, that's Matt Damon. We're talking about Team Matt Damien, the fastest number one with a bullet rising star of the PWR Fantasy Draft.
Let's talk sponsors real quick. We'll get him not out of the way. We want to get him in so we can talk shenanigans here. First off, manscaped.com, 20% off using the promo code PWR. Get on over to Manscaped. Get yourself cleaned up. Like I said, Valentine's Day is coming up real soon. If you got a man in your life or you got a woman in your life, you could have your man cleaned up and looking like Goldberg. You could have your woman cleaned up and having a breadstick or a pizza slice. I mean, whatever you got going on,
or you could have your woman cleaned up looking like Goldberg.
Right, exactly. I mean, you could shave out a goatee on her chest. I don't know what you do.
Who's next?
Who's next? Not me. So manscaped.com, 20% off. PWR. And then finally, our friends over at collarandelbowbrand.com. They're going to get you wearing the latest and greatest in the streetwear. They didn't have it on last night, but Buenos Hermanos were wearing the new, I think they were wearing the Bullet Club Being the Elite t-shirts. No, get on over to collarandelbow.com. Get the Buenos Hermanos t-shirts using the promo code PWR360, and you'll be able to save yourself 10% off as well. Matthew, it's Thursday morning. The event was Tuesday. It took the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howell. They had to run a new algorithm to get Team Matt Damien in on the list instead of the Nelson family. But you were in, my friend, and you have been bequeathed Damian Nelson's team. Would you like to hear what happened?
Jackhammer. Oh, I'm sorry. I was still in the whole deal Goldberg reference. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I sure would.
I'm just surprised you didn't jump all over the word bequeath.
It was too easy. I had to go right back retroactively with Jackhammer.
There you go. All right. So after the Superstar Spectacle in the Thunderdome featuring Indian as an India the country talent, we have a new top 5. Well, there's only 5, but here is the leaderboard brought to you by the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. The man they call Meathead still leading with the team they call Meatheads, 2,565 points. David Hero, 2,225 points. Andrew Baydala, 2,030 points. Matthew Thomas, you were in 4th place at 1,970 points.
Yes, 4th
Linda
place.
Kay, bringing up the rear at 1,565 points. Here is the points that were scored on Tuesday. Drew Bay with the big win on Tuesday. He had 110 points. I had 2nd place at 100. David Hero had 50. Matthew, you had 55. Linda Kay had 30. Linda actually got double dip points for the New Day because she officially has the New Day that features Kofi and Xavier, and she has Big E. So she got appearance for each because she used a draft pick on each. So real basic. Here's how it was scored. We'll start with you, Matthew. You had Finn Balor appearance, a match, and a win for 55 points. I myself had Drew McIntyre in an appearance, a match, and a win for 55. I had Bayley appearing in a match but losing for 30. And I had the Street Profits show up for an extra 15 points. Now, Dave Hero got a lot of points as well. Dave had Roman Reigns show up. He also had King Corbin in an appearance in a match in that 8-man tag. But Drew Baydala, Charlotte Flair with an appearance match win, and also with an AJ Styles appearance match win as well. So that's 110 points for him. How you feeling so far, buddy?
Oh, fantastic. And I think I need extra points because Finn Balor opened the show and he pretty much set the tone of the whole event. And there's a lot that you entrust with the person who opens the show. It really just kind of gets the momentum rolling. So, yeah, I think there's some bonus points there.
I don't think so. All right. So that is how it is. We only have a few events left. We did get an announcement last night on the next pay-per-view event after the Royal Rumble. Unless the Elimination Chamber comes first. I think the Chamber is going to be first. But AEW did announce the date for their next pay-per-view, which will be AEW Revolution, March 7th. We thought it would be at the end of February because last year I think it was on February 29th, but it's around the same time. It's just a week later. So it's the first Saturday of March, AEW Revolution, with already one, possibly two matches announced for that. We'll get into AEW in just a bit. We have a little bit of news here from Stephanie and Trips. It's not the commercial that they announced the next 3 WrestleMania sites with, which, again, as corny as it was, I enjoyed it, and I've watched it a few times. What did you think of that commercial that announced the WrestleMania locations?
Yeah, I liked it. It was, the news had already.
Did you get Triple H's name?
By the time I remember it being pretty interesting, but I can't remember it now.
Henry Pankey.
No.
Henry E. Pankey. Do you get it?
Henry E. Pankey. Henry.
What is a
E.
short
Pankey?
name for Henry?
Hank.
Hanky Panky.
Oh my goodness.
Hey now.
Yeah, that's good. You know what? That's like you got to go a couple steps with that. I like that. That's intellectual humor.
I like that kind of stuff. And I know Stephanie's had to do something with I Need a Real Man. So lots of good stuff in there. I like I said, I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. But we have news from the Trips and Steph. They interviewed with Sports Illustrated, and the conversation and the topic was fans at WrestleMania. Now, WWE has not officially announced any ticket information for WrestleMania down in Tampa Bay at Raymond James Stadium, and they said they can't due to looking to see how things are going. However, the Super Bowl in the exact same building in just less than 2 weeks will be holding 22,000 at the Super Bowl. Now, I think WWE is sitting and waiting to see how the event goes, and are probably going to do the exact same thing. Matthew, you and I talked off air before we started here that not only will they be able to match that 22,000, WWE will be able to sell the field because they have field seats as well.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing of it is they're having it in the same building. So you've really got a dress rehearsal for them with the Super Bowl. I mean, you've got outside of the ability to have more seating on the ground, you've got as close as you can get to an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to say, hey, thanks, pal. Thanks, NFL. Thanks for, doing that dry run for me.
Absolutely. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. I mean, and they're spacing it out over 2 nights. So you've got to think that whatever the crowd is times 2.
Well, math is hard, so we're not going to do math on the air. But
let me ask you this: is as far as the Super Bowl is Ticketmaster ticketing it? Is that? Do you know
idea.
who's? Yeah, I'm curious.
And to be completely honest, Matthew, you're not from the city of Milwaukee or even the state of Wisconsin. We don't want to talk about the Super Bowl right now.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I got to see what's going to be playing down at Ball Arena.
Ball. I'll show you a ball. The big news in the Milwaukee area actually is Miller Park is no longer called Miller Park. Did you know that?
I don't think I did.
It literally had its signage changed yesterday. Miller Park was the original name for the Brewers' home stadium, field, whatever you want to call it. But that contract ran out. So Miller Park, which is now reaching its 20th season, is now AmFam Field, American Family Field.
Well, there you go.
It's very, I don't want to go too far into it because it's a wrestling podcast, but it's very obnoxious to hear the Brewer fan base to say, but it's still Miller Park to me. I'm calling it Miller Park. Shut up. I mean, seriously, just stop. It was one corporate sponsor whose contract ran out for another corporate sponsor. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we got that in the bag. Now let's talk about a little bit of AEW Dynamite. Matthew, there was a hype video even right before Dynamite tonight for Zig's brother. What did you think?
Well, I don't get hyped. I stay hyped.
Oh, where's that guy been?
Yeah, last time I saw him, he was like he was hanging around with Gronk, and then he was like looking in a mirror a lot.
That was last year.
Yeah. That's what I remember. I like it because and I don't watch Dark on a weekly basis, but you see the scroll with all the matches they're having on Dark. There's other talent there. Give me some new people on the main show, and we got it tonight.
Don't give me a whole night of new people. Just, kind of let them in one at a time, right?
That's what I do with strangers when I invite them to my home. People
Yeah,
that I don't
Ryan
know.
Nemeth, the brother of Dolph Ziggler, debuting last night on AEW Dynamite. But let's talk about the beginning of the night. And this is a really a feud that's been kind of boiling for a while. And, you know, Eddie Kingston is not he's not like Scott Hall back in the AWA days where he was just this huge physical specimen, right? That's not Eddie Kingston's thing. He's not going to be on some bodybuilding magazine. But the Mad King, Eddie Kingston, you believe him when he's out there fighting. He took on the Murderhawk monster, Lance Archer, and after interference, they take down Jake the Snake Roberts, and he had his boys Butcher and the Blade with Bunny come out. Eddie Kingston, with a little shenanigans, gets the win over Lance Archer.
Yeah, I think that he could use it. I think it really bodes well to what that character is, and he's got to have a little bit of interference here. Archer was in full-fledged babyface mode tonight.
And he has to be now because he got the beatdown.
Yep, he kept Jake in the back, and it was and very physical. That chokeslam spot to the outside where Kingston nicked the apron was pretty rough. Interesting story they told here, and I like it. I'm curious to see what this version of Archer is. And the thing of it is too, the booking of him reminded me in a lot of ways the booking of Brody Lee. And I feel like they kind of ran parallel together, in their time in the company. And two big, physically imposing monsters. And I'm curious to see what direction this goes in.
Give me your thoughts on the promo that was pretty much cut by Sting, but a little bit by Darby Allin about the hoodlums. Yeah. Sting and Darby Allin.
I liked it, and I especially liked it for Sting, man. Seeing Sting bash some quote unquote windows with his bat was fun. This promo got me amped up for this street fight.
I'm indifferent at best right now. I need more. But I don't hate it. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can most certainly be in the middle on this.
Gotcha. Speaking of
whatever that word is, I'm looking for that word. It's a word I like to use, and I can never remember it.
Farfignugan.
Yes, that's it.
Speaking of in the middle, there's always something going on in the middle of the inner circle. The tag team match of Jericho and MJF taking on Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison. Inner circle wins, but there's still some heat between MJF and Sammy Guevara. I want to talk about the backstage promo after. Dude, I hope those guys were checked out because they were literally licking each other's upper lip. That's how close they were.
Yeah. I mean, that's they were right on top of each other. No question about that. I do want to make one observation. And it dawned on me tonight. I think it's been gradually going there. But I think until you can get an audience back and it feels natural and it doesn't feel like it's on the run sheet, I think I'm over the AEW audience. And by audience, I mean the AEW talent around ringside doing the Judas thing.
Yeah, but I still like it. But yeah,
I like the song, but that spot just, and I guess it's almost more of Jericho's,
just mugging for it.
Mugging for it. That's got me. I don't mind it as much when they've got fans there and you're shooting to the fans, but it's feeling a little more contrived with the AEW talent ringside doing it now. I mean, it's taken a while. I mean, they've been in Daly's place since about the very start of this pandemic. So, I mean, it's taken almost a year for it to get there, but I think I'm there now.
Okay. Footage of Shaquille O'Neal from the TNT, NBA on TNT desk, and he calls Rhodes a punk, and he says, you know what, need a time and a place. Wait, how about we do it in March? So are we naming a time and a place, or are you naming the time and a place, Shaq? Come on, pick a lane, buddy. But he calls out Rhodes and says, let's do something in March. After that, they bring out Shivani, they bring out Uncle Arn, and they bring out Cody. And then out of nowhere, here comes Red Velvet talking about Jade Cargill. And apparently, this was meant to be a tag team match. It was supposed to be Cody and Brandy versus Jade Cargill and Shaq. Well, Brandy's pregnant now, baby daddy, the one thing that caught my attention, and it absolutely felt genuine because there's no way to pop that instantly, was Arn telling a story of Dusty in a 6-man tag, seconds later, jumping on a private jet to be there for the birth of Cody. I mean, your dad's not there, and he's telling a story about how your dad got on a plane to make sure he was there for you. Dude, Cody lost it right away. I mean, yeah. he broke. And, if you don't like Cody now, or at least don't believe in Cody, that was genuine to me.
Yeah. No doubt. I thought that was a nice moment. The match still seems very forced to me. The Shaq involvement still seems forced, and I just don't know that. I don't know that it's going to do what they want it to do or what they think it's going to do outside of the. And I mean, here's the thing. I feel like because of the amount of plugs that AEW gets on TNT, if you're watching TNT for basketball,
it's one of the bumpers.
Yeah, you've run across AEW. I just don't know that you have that casual sports fan now that wants to go out of their way to watch Shaq wrestle.
Okay. Well, remember they were watching after the Bucks game went, and they got the lead in to AEW, and they were watching that night. So maybe there is something to this. I don't know. Not to disagree with you, but, maybe there is something to it because they got the lead in the last time. And unfortunately, kept bashing at Jericho because Jericho opened up the segment and said, what happened to Chris Jericho's body?
Well, and here's the thing, too. I mean, as far as celebrity involvement goes, we've already had Snoop Dogg come off the top. I don't know if Shaq's going to be able to top that.
No, Shaq's going to go over the top rope, but he ain't coming off at any turnbuckles. And we have Mike Tyson in there, too. Don't forget.
Oh, that seems like it's been so long ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they couldn't do anything because they had no crowds.
Yeah.
So they couldn't afford to pay him again. And he was getting ready for the fight with Roy Jones Jr. So
that's true.
This was news months ago that AEW paid for the rights to Jungle Boy's theme music. We got to hear it last night. Oh, 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 oh. It's catchy. And you say that you're over the ringside / AEW people doing Jericho's theme song. How long will it take on this one? Because they were into it all throughout the match.
No, it can be new. This can be the song they sing. And let me ask you this. Was Archer's music new tonight or last night?
It might have been, and maybe I didn't catch it. It might have been Face music. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Or, maybe it's time for an acoustic version of Judas.
Well, you know what it's really time for is me to sing wrestling theme songs like we did way back in the day, but trust me, you don't want that. Here it was. Dax Harwood with Cash Wheeler and Tully Blanchard versus Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus. Blanchard and Wheeler handcuffed to Luchasaurus at ringside. And this was the finish because as Dax the Axe Harwood, was about to tap out, he's reaching out for Wheeler and Tully. Couldn't get it. Jungle Boy gets Dax Harwood to tap out in the center of the ring. Your winner, Jungle Boy.
This is a big victory for Jungle Boy. And outside of all of the pomp and circumstance of Jurassic Express, I think there's really something there as a single star in Jungle Boy. And this was the closest stamp on him that we got tonight.
Yeah, way over the top. This is a signature win for him. Absolutely. There was an 8-man tag. It was the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, John Silver, and Stu Grayson against the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. There is heat between Omega, Callis, and the Young Bucks because the backstage thing where Matt and Nick are going for, what do you got on your face there? Let me pull that off. Dude, how much tape did he have on his face?
Quite a bit. He looked like he was in mummy mode.
It was, I enjoyed it. It was, because that tape shouldn't be on your face. That's for taping your wrists and your ankles. But, it's just funny to me. The winners of the match, the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks announced that next week on the special event that they're having, there is a tag team match, like a battle royal, that the tag team that wins it is going to be the number one contenders at Revolution for the Young Bucks Tag Team Championships. But the Young Bucks have been inserted into the match. So therefore, if they win the match, they pick anybody they want. Cue head turn. Anybody we want as they look at the Good Brothers.
I think it makes sense, and I think it's probably the route they're going, and good for them to, build it up a little bit tonight, because if that stipulation was thrown in there, yeah, I think this is the way that we would know it would most likely go anyway. So yeah, go ahead and whet our appetite a little bit.
Speaking of whetting your appetite, we've been talking about wrestling all night, but we haven't got to NXT yet. Let's run down NXT. More men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic quarterfinals and more women's tag team matches as well. NXT, I got to be honest, folks, if you're into just pure wrestling and none of the shenanigans, these are your shows. I need more. The opening match was MSK versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. MSK with the big win, and they're going to be moving on. This is a team that came out, I think this was the Rascals in Impact Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're correct.
The women's Dusty Road Tag Team Classics, Jesse Camilla and Aaliyah versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Kai and Gonzalez move on. So, really, as we go up and down here, here's another match. Leon Ruff and Kushida versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. There's more to this because of the way. And Kushida has 2 pinfall victories against Johnny Gargano, but both non-title. There's a possibility that Johnny Gargano is going to have to defend his belt against Kushida. Here's what I took away from this. After the interview, and you get Austin Theory just kind of standing there. Did you see how Dexter Lumis presented himself when he opened up the curtain?
I'll need you to elaborate.
He opened it up, and it's just Dexter Lumis being creepy, right?
Uh-huh.
Dude, it could have been so much better if it was just a black curtain and his face popped up.
I can see that.
I'm just saying, it was weird. So Dexter Lumis seems to be stalking Austin Theory. The Grizzled Young Veterans win, and they're going to move on as well. Swerve Squat. Isaiah Swerve Scott and Bronson Reed. This was going to be an easy one for Bronson Reed. The main event was Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Birch, the NXT Tag Team Champions. But before we get to that, as they're showing the Dusty men's tournament brackets, do you see who's the team on there? It's Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher.
I like that.
And they cut an amazing promo. They'll be in the main event next week against the Undisputed Era of Strong and Cole.
Yeah. This is going to be a fun one to watch.
I like this team because they're just no nonsense, brutal wrestling. Let's talk the main event.
And that seems like a team that typically wins the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Yeah. Let's talk the main event. Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly win the match. Shenanigans with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne, what a great acting job at the end. When he sees Cole and Strong at the top of the stage, he looks at him and he's got Finn Balor's finger ready to break it and goes, done, and then ran off. Dude, the look you get from Pete Dunne was hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see the little, subtle nuances of Dunne right now.
Here was the weird thing. So they look at Balor standing with the Undisputed Era, and then for another 4 minutes, it's Balor at the back of the ring. Why is the Undisputed Era up in front of camera with Balor in the back of the camera? That was an odd shot.
Yeah, you'll have to speak to the production team about that.
We're going to have to speak to him about that. That's right. Oh, and speaking of Austin Theory, Dexter Lumis showed up again at ringside, stalking him, and he has got some insane eyes. You know what I would really love to see? Dexter Lumis is a star, right? I think he's a star. We need an oddball pairing. Instead of everybody being afraid of him, Cameron Grimes, all that running around he did from him, we need somebody to help him one day and accidentally get a friend, and then they become a tag team.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like a Booker T. Goldust type of deal,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we have right now with Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, but Drake Maverick talks all the time.
Yeah, and it's not, you don't have a strange dynamic. You would have with him, you'd have a much more strange dynamic.
Right. Like, hey, man, how about I come over for dinner or something? And he just stares at you.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this: did you see Rhea Ripley anywhere tonight?
I did not.
Interesting.
She's probably getting ready for the Rumble.
It's a possibility.
Probably getting ready to win it on Sunday.
Possibility. I mean, I think that's the consensus on this program.
On this program, I don't know about the rest of the programs out there because we're podcast number 796,000 out of 1 million. So, joking.
You got a lot of wrestling podcast options, but we'd like to thank you, our loyal listeners, for choosing to spend the morning with us, or take a shower with us. That's what I do on the days that I'm not on the show. I'm actually listening to you and Linda while I'm in the shower.
I think we're going to have to call the police on that because that just makes me feel uncomfortable.
Well, and also too, maybe I'd like to request, on a future show, maybe a little shot. You know what? I think we need a new segment. I think on the segments that I am not, on the days that I'm not on the show, I think we need to have Matthew's shower shout out.
So what you're asking me is to be inside you when you're in the shower.
Yes.
Oh, no. No.
We've made history here this morning.
I'm a married man, Matthew. It's not going to happen. And I'm pretty sure Lynn and I will agree on that one. Well, hey, Matthew, you've had your cherry popped as far as the PWR draft goes. You've had some points collected. How you feeling going into the Royal Rumble this Sunday?
Oh, wonderful. There's a couple of moves that I was thinking about making in my head, but am I going to make them or am I just going to hang tight? Team Matt Damien, they've got a couple people that have been dormant for a little while. Not doing too much, but not out with injury or anything. So, and the Rumble's a great spot for them to make an impact.
The thing with the Rumble, Rumble's an appearance, it's a match, and a specialty for everybody.
And I think there's a team member of Matt Damien that's been away rearing a child here, so he may be making a return.
The Big Show?
I mean, he's got kids, right? He's got a TV show where he's with his kids. So
that was the big show.
Yep.
All right. For Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they called me today. Thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.